Welcome, friends and family, to the celebration of Shelby and Zan joining in marriage. We have gathered today just 10 miles south of downtown Dallas, where these two first met and started a life together. We meet today at Dallas's Trinity River Audubon Center, a retreat away from the noise of the city to take a moment to enjoy the celebration before us. When you look around today, you might notice a juxtaposition between the modern architecture and the prairie-style gardens, a balance that mirrors the couple standing before you today, one much more balanced when the other is present. Before we begin, we kindly ask that you keep your phones away and on silent so that we can all be present in this moment together. All right. The couple before us are excited to start this incredible chapter together and would like to acknowledge your presence here today. You have been chosen among all the people in the world to be here for this celebration. Each and every one of you has played a part in their story. Whether your relationship with Shelby and Zan met long before they met, or Shelby met you last week and decided to extend an invitation to a new friend, it doesn't matter. They are beyond grateful for your presence here today. It speaks volumes of the mutual appreciation you have for one another and this union. Shelby and Zan, take a moment to look around you and see the people who love you most, who have traveled far and wide to celebrate this pivotal occasion with you. They are here today to honor your marriage and surround you with love. Let's also take a moment to remember those who are no longer here with us and those not able to join today. We know that they are here with us in spirit. Today, we celebrate love. Not just that of Shelby and Zan, but of all the couples that came before them. Two sets of parents before them who have been married for over 30 years. Extended family members and friends that exist as a reminder of the promise they plan to make to one another today.
You can keep going.
Throughout time, countless millions of people from many cultures, religions, and societies have gathered among friends and family to celebrate their love for one another and their commitment to each other. Each culture has symbols and rituals to celebrate marriage, from the Chinese tea ceremony to the Jewish tradition of breaking the glass, a rich tapestry of traditions from around the world combine to symbolize the meaning of marriage. Today, we should try to remember that the wedding is a symbol, a heartfelt and meaningful symbol, but a symbol nonetheless. This ceremony is not magic. It will not create a relationship that does not already exist and has not already been celebrated in all the commitments Zan and Shelby have made to each other, both large and small, since the days they first met. What we are celebrating today is not the beginning of a marriage, but a marriage already in progress. This ceremony is a symbol of how far they have come together and a symbol of the promises that they will continue to make to each other throughout their lives together. After sitting down to speak with them about this day, Zan said, "All right, I take it back. Maybe there was a little magic involved after all." No one could have anticipated the way their relationship would unfold or how the stars would align when Shelby had a layover in Dallas 3 days after they met. Shelby's flight landed around 7 p.m. on August 4th, 2017 at Love Field Airport, approximately a mile and a half away from Zan's apartment. Nobody would have expected Zan to go to the airport to meet a stranger, but it was too crazy of a coincidence to say no. For once, she really didn't have any excuses. They often joke that if the tables were turned and Zan was the one traveling, she would not have left the airport in a tight layover to meet a stranger, too risky. But the universe knew better that day and placed Shelby on the right side of airport security. Shelby, without hesitation, suggested they meet and bounce through the airport to meet Zan at arrivals. It was unexpected, exciting, and perfect. Who doesn't want to start their relationship at a place called Love Field anyway? Their meeting was the start of 8 months of back and forth. There were 2 hip surgeries on Shelby's part, their first Christmas together in California, and New Year's in Dallas. These two knew what they wanted to accomplish that year. Zan booked a one-way flight to Nashville in May of that year, and the two packed up Shelby's car with Richard Pryor, the cat, in tow and moved them to Dallas. Since that day, there have been countless ups and downs that these two have encountered. Through job changes, adopting Wilder, the other cat, in 2019, a pandemic, and moving into their first house, these two have always remained consistent with one thing: their dedication to one another. All of these moments strung together bring us to today. 5 years, 8 months, and 28 days later, and we've made it to your wedding day. Whenever we attend a wedding, we're given the opportunity to reflect on our own relationships. We might look at the couple before us and be tempted to compare their love to the quality of our own relationships. But the truth is that every relationship is as unique as the individuals in it. But one thing holds true. For love to exist between two people, each person must allow the vulnerability of giving their love to the other, and each must be open to receiving the other's love in turn. Therefore, each of us is a powerful creator of love. Each of us, every moment of every day, has the choice to dedicate ourselves to one another. Today, Shelby and Zan choose to take part in one of the world's oldest commitment ceremonies. Derived from the Celtic tradition, the hand-fasting ceremony began when English couples could not just wander down the street to buy a gold ring. The tradition was their version of today's wedding ceremony. Couples would pledge their intent and love by binding their wrists with straps of fabric torn from old garments, cord, or rope to symbolize their union. This is where the term tying the knot comes from. Today, couples choose to incorporate this tradition into their ceremony as a reminder of what marriage is really about. Two individuals making a conscious commitment together. Two people who promise to show up as a partner each and every day. As they take part in this ceremony, Shelby and Zan have chosen 5 ribbons to symbolize the intentions they have set for their marriage. At this time, I'd like to invite Rachel up to help these two tie the knot. Zan and Shelby have chosen 5 colors to symbolize the cornerstones of their marriage. They've chosen green for prosperity in their pursuits as a couple and individuals, blue for understanding with one another, violet for health and longevity, pink for unity and to live as a partnership, and white for peace within their home. Zan and Shelby have each chosen a particularly meaningful reading today to share that inspires them as they embark on this next chapter together. I'd like to invite the readers to share those with us now.
I would like to share a reading chosen by Zan, On Marriage by Khalil Gibran. Let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heavens dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another of your bread, but eat not of the same loaf. Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone, even as the strings of a lute are alone, though they quiver with the same music. Give your hearts, but not into one another's keeping, for only the hand of life can contain your hearts. And stand together, yet not too near together, for the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow.
I'll be sharing the reading that Shelby chose, Canticle of Love. Let love be genuine and live in harmony. Hate what is evil, hold fast to what is good. Outdo one another in showing honor. Be humble and never conceited. Love is stronger than death, and jealousy is cruel as the grave. Floods cannot drown love, and wealth cannot buy it. Put love above all. Let Christ's peace rule your hearts. Always be forgiving, as Christ has forgiven you. Love is not jealous or boastful, arrogant, rude, or stubborn, irritable, resentful, or possessive. Love is patient and kind. Do not love in word or speech only, love also in deed and truth. Receive each other in sincerity, find mercy, and grow old together.
This is the point in the ceremony when people usually talk about how wedding bands are a perfect circle, having no beginning and no end. But we all know these rings do have a beginning. Rock is dug up from the earth, Metals are liquefied in a furnace at thousands of degrees. The hot metal is forged, cooled, and polished. Something beautiful is made from raw elements. Love is just like that. It comes from humble beginnings made by imperfect beings. It's the process of making something beautiful where there was once nothing at all. Marriage is perhaps the greatest and most challenging adventure of human relationships. No ceremony can create your marriage. Only you can do that. Through love and patience, through dedication and perseverance, through talking and listening, helping and supporting and believing in each other, through tenderness and laughter, through learning to forgive, learning to appreciate your differences, and by learning to make the things important matter and to let go of the rest. What this ceremony can do is to witness and affirm the choice you make to stand together as life mates and partners. At this time, Shelby and Zan have chosen to share vows of their own as they affirm their commitment to one another. So Zan's. This one's Shelby's.
Love is so complex, but the reason for love, the why of love, can be very, very simple. Zan, the simple truth is this. I knew I wanted to marry you the moment I first saw you. You've been my best friend, playmate, confidant, and from time to time, my greatest challenge. Most importantly, you are the love of my life. And because of that simple truth, you make me happier than I could ever imagine, and more loved than I thought possible. You know me better than anyone else in this world, and still somehow you manage to love me for me. You're my truest and one true love. Even now, there is still a part of me that cannot believe that I'm the one who gets to marry you. But another part, the bigger part and better part, does believe. And that belief marks where our future begins and all our doubts fall away. Love replaces doubt with belief. Belief that you can let yourself fall and have faith that someone will be there to catch you. Zan, that someone is you. You make me smile. You make me safe. You make me strong. I promise to do all that for you forever. Simply, I believe in you, Zan, and I believe in us. I love you.
Shelby. It's difficult to put into words what the last 5.5 years have meant to me, and it's impossible to visualize how could have gone through a single moment of it without you. While I'm someone who is confident in my ability to lead as a partner, and while I do have a few years on you, I have found that I'm the one that continues to learn from you. People in my life who haven't met you always ask what you're like, and this is something I've struggled to explain. I can throw out how extroverted you are, your never met a stranger approach to life, but nothing ever really lived up to what it felt like to know you and love you as a person. After years of this, it eventually occurred to me why it was so difficult to describe. Because having Shelby in your life is not a textbook description, it is a feeling. Feelings are always difficult to describe, but today I'm going to give it my best shot. Having you in my life is knowing that I have a loyal partner, reliable friend, and balance in my world, because you are my polar opposite in the best way possible. The day we met in person, I immediately noticed the warmth and light you carried with you. I quickly realized this wasn't a one-time occurrence or some magical first meeting. You're always like this. We could be traveling, and suddenly you're swapping life stories with the stranger sitting next to you. For reference, Shelby leaves most flights with a new friend, or at the very least, runs into someone she knows and has like an hour-long catch-up. You draw people in with your warmth and use every opportunity to connect with someone new. As an only child who will happily sit by themselves at the airport while you chat with a stranger, I found this intriguing, how you're engaging with others. Most of us are too focused on ourselves, our travel day ahead, what's going on at work, or in our personal lives, but not you. You never waste the opportunity to connect with another human. Most of us fear rejection and disappointment, but none of these things seems to hold you back either. which is fine with me because that means I get to sit alone in silence while you make a new friend waiting in line for coffee. It's absolutely terrifying the way you so effortlessly love others. I've never seen anyone else do it, or likely ever will. I feel as though I have been entrusted with your light, and while it's not always easy, I know exactly what I need to do with it. My greatest honor in life will be to share you with the world. To keep you locked away from myself will only diminish your gift. Loving something so unique requires a lot of trust. I must let you go out into the world, knowing that you will return brighter and warmer at the end of every day. Shelby, most days I feel like you're the only thing connecting me to this world. I tend to live in my head, and you live in your heart, spreading that goodness everywhere you go. It's important to me that you know how much I appreciate the balance you bring to my life. I promise to always provide the same to you. While you've taught me that it's safe to connect with the world, you continue to teach me how to enjoy life to the fullest. With that, I wanted to make some promises to you today. First and foremost, I promise to see the potential in every piece of furniture left on the side of the road. In that same vein, I promise to consider that every loose animal we see could be our next family member. I promise to care for you and any future family members, whichever way our family grows. I promise to always push you a little further than you'd like to be pushed when it comes to sharing what's on your mind or believing in yourself. I promise to prioritize time for each other and time for ourselves. I promise to always remain your opposite because being as vulnerable and loving as you seems incredibly scary. I promise to listen when you have something to say, but especially when you have nothing to say at all. Last, I promise forever, because you are my person and I love you so much.
Chris, may I have the rings, please? What I'd like the two of you to do now is to take each other's hands and look into each other's eyes as I speak these words. Shelby and Zan, do you choose to be married to one another? Do you promise to give the best of yourselves and to ask for no more than you can give? Do you promise to respect one another as your own person and to realize that your interests, needs, and desires are no less important than the others? Do you promise to keep yourselves open to each other, to allow the other to see through the windows of your world and into your innermost fears, feelings, secrets, and dreams? Do you promise to grow alongside each other, willing to face changes as you both change in order to keep your relationship alive and exciting? Do you promise to love one another in good times and in bad, with all you have to give and all you feel inside, in the only way you know how, completely and forever? Shelby, do you take Zan to be your wife?
I do.
Excuse me. Zan, do you take Shelby to be your wife?
I do.
Throughout this ceremony, Shelby and Zan have vowed in our presence to be loyal and loving towards each other. They have formalized the existence of the bond between them with words spoken and with the giving and receiving of rings. By the power vested in me by the state of Texas, I now pronounce you married. Shelby and Zan, you may kiss the bride. Kiss again. Kiss again. Yep, these ones.